Hello. So today I want to talk about dexterity games, and some of these are a little less traditional than, say, Jenga, but they share some of the same dexterity with that, but they don't take as long to set up when they fall down and do all of that. So the first one up is the fuzzies. And in this game, you have these cotton ball fuzzies that are in this stack and they all stick together, and you're going to flip a card and it's going to tell you what color you have to take off of the stack and then put somewhere higher on. One of the things I love about this game is that it's quiet. So when it all crashes to the ground, it doesn't make any loud noise, which can be helpful if you're playing in a setting with a lot of other people and not wanting to make noise. But this one is a lot of fun. I like dexterity games because you can pretty much play them with any age. So they're great for any group, gamers, non-gamers. Next up is Draw Polter. In this game, you are holding 5 items in your hand, and a card's going to get flipped out telling you which of those 5 items need to be dropped on the table. So you are going to drop those items and then take the ghost from the center of the table. And when you do that, you get a bell. First 1 to 5 bells wins, but if you drop any of your bells, they go back to the center and you don't get them. You have to earn them again. Then we have Cards versus Gravity. And these are these cool plastic cards. So you have this disc that will connect to some sort of bottle. We use a big kombucha bottle because it has a good base. And then you are hanging cards off of there, trying to not let everything fall. And they're kind of thick like credit cards, and they just have these notches in them. So the way that you hang them is really cool and a lot of fun. This one's always been a hit. Then we have one I've talked about a lot and is still one of my favorites, and that is Nekojima. And on this one, you are creating the power poles for the cats to get to hang off of. Oh, I just did my pet peeve where my box front and back are not lined up. But it looks really cool on the table. These lines can't touch each other. And there's rules about where at the bottom you are getting to place each of your poles. And you can play this with up to 4 people. It's really cool. There's a bunch of different expansions for it to kind of tweak things a little bit. But this one just looks fantastic on the table. And speaking of ones that look fantastic on the table, that is Tokyo Highway. And this is the Rainbow City version. This is the newest version. And you have essentially these gray popsicle sticks. They look like popsicle sticks that have some rubberized on the bottom. And you are building out this amazing highway, and you have different types of vehicles in your color that you are building. But there's all of these obstacles and things that are going to be placed around the table before you start that your roads have to be built around. And there's placement rules about roads have to go higher and things like that. So you're having to think strategically. And if you run out of your little cubes to make risers and you can't place a road, then that's a problem. And again, the table presence of this one is just phenomenal. You want to get all your cars placed. This one has always been a hit with all ages because it's surprisingly tricky and looks really cool. And then finally, this is probably my newest dexterity game, and this is Stack-O Cats. And there's been a lot of games where you're stacking different wooden animals and things like that. Like Buffet Boss is another great one where you're stacking food. But this one, the thing I like about it is the base that you're stacking into. You can kind of see it here. It'll have a certain number of cats in it, but the base is really sturdy. Like those cats really fit in there. So it gives you a lot more options and ways to place your cats. It doesn't mean that the game is easy. It's still difficult, but because you have a sturdier base, I feel like you get to do some cooler things in the way you play. And there's a few different modes for how you play this game. And so you can kind of tweak it to your group. You can even play it solo if you want, but this one is another one that is really fun and looks cool on the table. So those are some of my favorite dexterity games that, if you grew up playing Jenga, give one of these a whirl. What are some of your favorite dexterity games? Give me a like and a follow, and I'll keep bringing you more board game content. Thanks. Bye.